Spice.
Spice! All right, everybody. Welcome to our new little thing that we're doing. We're providing a video supplement to our games clubs now. Look at this. It's the sequel. Link to the Past 2. Link never got out of bed.
No, it's not. What? Lies.
Yeah, no, that's what I
It's
think.
like Link to the Past Gaiden.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah, that'd be all right.
I'm sorry. When I heard Link to the Past Gaiden, I just pictured this woman by the name of Irene and like this ridiculous music and like a fucking severe hatred for hawks.
Why was that old guy sleeping in a chair? Like, why doesn't he have a bed?
Well, dude, because he's a considerate parent. He's a considerate
sleeping in a chair, and then he's like, all right, I gotta go.
Dude's
Peace.
a provider.
Yeah, no, he left a convenient lamp for Link. And one of the first things, I mean, look at this interior. Because keep in mind that, like, in the original Legend of Zelda, everybody fucking lived in caves. Nobody had homes in the original Legend of Zelda.
Caves become homes.
Yeah, so I'm okay with them fucking up the whole furniture thing. But just for the folks at home, you know, just they can catch up on their homework. There are certain highlights that we're going to go ahead and drop, this being the first of 3 highlights. And yeah, we actually wanted to go ahead and highlight the very beginning because it's a very integral moment within Link to the Past. Essentially where you're not just dropped in the thicket of things, you know, you're kind of dropped in a more constricted moment, which is actually quite honestly one of the only moments of constriction that Link to the Past sees. Because as you see, I'm just digging around, you know, I already know what to do, but I kind of just want to show what it would have been like had I first played this on the Super NES in its prime time.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you first started, you don't really know where you're supposed to go. It's just like, okay, you have to get into the castle, but we aren't going to tell you how.
Yeah, and eventually, Zelda will tell you. I wanted to dick around until she does this, and she's like, it's in the garden. Go to the garden outside of the castle. So, again, I wanted to highlight that out of the entire open nature of Link to the Past is one of the most controlled aspects of it. It's very direct. So, again, you get to, for the first time, you actually get intelligible dialogue within what's been given to you. And, yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a real depth to everything. And that's something I wanted to kind of highlight later.
I remember when I played this for the first time, I thought that the thunder and lightning and the rain was just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything quite like that before, you know? And even now, there's like little details that, oh yeah, look, the lightning happens and then the thunder instead of having it timed like you know, a lot of stupid movies do.
Yeah,
because that's bullshit.
And then you find it.
Yeah, eventually you kind of come across the fact that, you know, you can carry bushes and yeah. So this whole
I want to know what's up here. Yeah, like where'd the guy go that took him out?
Well, because yeah, at first I don't know, it's very ominous, but you know, it's like they take a very ominous scene, and then they just make it so cheeky. I'm like, you can even hold B and spin your sword.
Yeah,
that was a technique that was just introduced in this game, but I don't know. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of depth, and it's not really. I mean, the lamp was explained earlier when I first got it, but of course we all click through the text. But as you see here, you can pretty much light
it. I honestly didn't do that for a while. I was like, oh yeah, you can light those. Okay, cool.
Essentially, like later on, it becomes an integral aspect of puzzle solving for certain rooms where certain lanterns will need to be lit, and it all originated from Link to the Past. So
I just love that end line, like Zelda is your. Like, have you ever seen the Ego Raptor video?
I did.
Like, Zelda's my what? Zelda's my what?
What?
Wait, whoa! Did you go invisible there for a second?
I did.
Oh, you went into a tree.
No, all that is he got hit and there's interlaced things with the.
Okay. Gotcha. I was like, oh fuck, he's invisible. When that happened?
he would look transparent otherwise.
Yeah, but I did want to mention though, shit, I had it just on the tip of my tongue, that it's a very ominous feeling scene going on with the uncle, but they never really mention whether or not the uncle dies. And then see,
it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I kind of want to highlight this too because again, this is the first time they've really done this because again, they're leaving Adventure of Link and they're coming to a top-down setup with Link to the Past, which is what everybody was clamoring for. But they took it up a notch, and they gave it a bunch of depth. And I wanted to come back here and really highlight this area right here, because it was also something that really made the world feel really organic. I just tried to run into essentially what is considered the boss door to the wizard that she makes mention of, and the fact that you have to go around collecting things. I don't know, it's just not a lot of games kind of set this foreshadowy tone, like, hey, I'm gonna eventually see myself coming back here. And I don't know, I really like that the barrier itself is designed like an enemy. And like, I could have illustrated that I could have swiped at it, because that's what you do when you get the Master Sword. You actually have to kill it with the Master Sword to get in. But yeah, no, that thing fucking hurts you if you walk into it. And again, I don't know, I kind of like the scenery here, and it just really spoke that fact that when I was talking about just how organic and just how constructed all the design was for like this intentional, subtle way to teach the player, like, this is where I gotta go, this is what's gotta happen.
Crying peas.
Yeah, that's
they look like crying peas. I'm sorry.
It's just something that was just showcased right off the bat.
I mean, would you say it's like a Metroidvania kind of thing? Like the fact that you have access to areas, or like you see the areas, but you can't gain access to them right away. Like you have to, kind of earn your way and kind of get to that point eventually.
Well, see,
I don't know if I'd call it like a Metroidvania. I think I'd more or less call it like Proto-Zelda trope.
Yeah, but and then you see things like this with the statues. Like you figure like you should be able to move them, but you can't yet. And then you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff's crazy. Like it's like telling you that in the game that you're eventually gonna be able to do stuff like this, but you can't right now.
Well, see,
and you go to it eventually.
I kind of wanted to showcase it too, that like there's a pushing animation. And it gives you it highlights that this is something you're gonna do. And I mean, you did push statues. That's something I really wanted to highlight.
The fact that they kind of tell you like, hey, you can kick this guy off, like, later.
Because look at the patterns in which they move.
Yeah,
they're deliberately walking right next to the edge, and it without even having to discover yourself, like, hey, I can fall down here. And then you notice like there are walls. They're intentionally set walls that are set, and then after you're given an opportunity to knock a couple people down, you're gonna have one who comes at you, and
then they challenge you. Yeah,
exactly. So the whole game, it has just a very congruitive design that like I really wanted to hit the hammer with. That I felt like I could illustrate through words on the podcast, but then like this is where this video supplement comes perfect timing. I was kind of trying to light his ass on fire.
I will set your ass on fire.
Essentially, that was the plan.
How many times did you hit that fucking button and not mean to? You're like, God damn
it. Sometimes, especially when
I did a lot.
With the Game Boy Advance version, where there was only the two buttons, I'd often get mixed up and think, oh, maybe the A button will swing the sword. No, I used way too many items that way.
Yeah.
I actually like too that Link to the Past was the first time that there was a kind of a tactics introduced to where, for example, soldiers have their swords extended, and you can actually deflect off of the sword through. You can have a real actual sword fight, which is something that was never really done before. I mean, the sword was just a means of attack, and there was like, I don't know, there's never really any like skill exchange, and the fact that there is areas in which you had to swipe your sword to get an enemy, like against this boss especially. Again, the game, and see, this is where I think, fuck, I thought I had my boomerang equipped, but then, here we go.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple of times.
So, again, just speaking through here, I mean, this is the first Legend of Zelda to where everything, again, is intentionally laid. So, this dude, I'm only going to assume that boomeranging him will be to my benefit, and it gives me a couple free shots at him. And the fact that he has this uncontrollable range, if had I not stunned him with the boomerang, could have been a real factor.
You couldn't get in close.
So this is where I was kind of drawing my Elizabeth contrast with BioShock Infinite, and where I feel like Ken Levine may have kind of gone off of it, because as we mentioned before with BioShock Infinite, like Elizabeth kind of had a bigger role in the way she affected combat. And granted, like, Zelda's really there just for contextual narrative. She doesn't do anything other than, mirror you. She just parrots you, but they're still nonetheless, it's a very significant thing. I love this too. Every time you're given like a really big piece of important information, they'll ask you, "Do you understand this at all?" And if you select no, she just repeats herself word for word.
Like, you got it? You sure? You got this?
Not at all.
I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah, but like not a lot of games kind of did this, you know, where you actually had Zelda. I mean, I don't know. It's implied that like you're protecting her and that she trusts you and she's going with you because she's the one that called for your help. But, you know, I don't know. I personally didn't really try it in this gameplay to be an asshole. I mean, the game's old enough and we've experienced it before to where I kind of just want to show her, like, bitch follows you everywhere. But anyway. But yeah. And then, like, I love this. I'd turn around just to highlight, like, in case you kind of skip through enemies, I mean, you can just get back through here. The game just kind of makes it convenient. It's like, hey, you know, just get through here without going through all the scary part. Fuck you, though.
Later. See ya.
Yeah, but I don't remember if she already mentions it, but she does mention that you have to go to the throne room. So there's, I don't know. Again, you kind of have to go and analyze it for its time. I mean, even then, going back now, and I kind of just want to defend the point that this game is something that quite possibly ages better than any other old game that you could think of. There's just a lot going on, and there's a lot within the design that pushes the player, and like there's hardly any hand-holding. There's just small pieces of direction, and then real direction. Like earlier when we saw that Zelda's just like, oh hey dude, I'm in the castle, come get me. So you don't be fucking dicking around in the rain. You know, I don't know. This is the kind of quality that you'll find throughout the whole game. And I forgot to completely mention it, but like, you know, Andrew mentioned a lot about like the trickery involved with depth. You see these pots earlier, like in other dungeons, you would see those pots. Like right now, I'm on the second floor. If there's a hole, and I believe there is one here in the castle, there should be a hole near the top floor that if I fall down them, it kind of just gets me through this cavalcade of different fucking holes. Oh shit! What the fuck? Sorry, my Kinect went off for a second.
Fucking trying to search shit again, isn't it?
Dude, no. Terminator 2 is currently paused in there, and it's at the part where they, yeah,
that's good.
The part where the kid's got the race car, and she's just getting that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I hated this part because I ran out of the fucking like the mana or whatever it was to use the fucking torch. So I would like, oh shit, I'm out. I can't, like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's scary and dark.
Well, yeah, and see, again, like, there's kind of a risk reward. I mean, this dungeon's a very introductory dungeon. There's not a whole lot of threats other than snakes and fucking rats.
Those snakes are scary as shit, man. I was terrified.
Yeah.
Lights are going out. Run. Bat rats coming after you.
But yeah, I don't know. As far as the depth, this is one of the first Legend of Zeldas to really like highlight again what I was mentioning, the design of the world. I really feel like I am in a corridor. I'm not in this like flat fucking hallway. Like I don't know. There's a lot of pop for this game, especially like what it was released in '91.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pop going on. And like there weren't a lot of top-down games other than like, you know, like Final Fantasy turn-based RPG games. So,
see, you're getting messed up by those snakes, man. Like you're saying they're not scary, like you're getting messed up with them.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to me here. I really don't.
I think beyond Link to the Past, the next noteworthy action RPG was probably Secret of Mana in '93.
Oh no, there was others. There was like Soul Blazer. Soul Blazer was actually.
Oh yeah, I guess that was '92, wasn't it?
But that one's like super obscure though.
It was interesting because I had that conversation at work. I was like, yeah, we were talking about Link to the Past, and I was saying, you know, how Chrono Trigger had a lot of those elements, but it was way after Link to the Past. Like, no, Chrono Trigger was before that. I was like, no, dude, Link to the Past was before that. Chrono Trigger was in '95.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger was like a late ass generation.
Like, I was like, and like a lot of people think Chrono Trigger was before. I'm like, no, dude, like it's way after.
Towards the end of the SNES life,
which is most time when the best games come out.
Yeah, it was.
I still don't understand why Bahamut Lagoon was never released, and it's so good.
That would have been good to see in English, like officially. But
they did. Somebody's done I think Time Walk did a repro of it in English, but
nice. Granted,
fuck it.
Well, you've got it on Super Famicom, don't you?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll go through a translation guide or whatnot, but there's one RPG that like they just recently reproed that I'm definitely getting that I just can't see myself getting on the Super Famicom because it's so dependent on the use of words. And it's the Treasure of Rudaris. And
I've got that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really sweet, and they fully translated it. So I don't know. I'm still slightly leery over the production quality of the physical cards themselves, but the emulation's always fucking spot on. So there's one particular point here, and again, you'll notice that I've been killing enemies left and right. You're gonna get in the habit of doing that because dead enemies will trigger something, keys or something. So this is something I want to ask Sarah. Those walls, they obviously have structural issues as far as their integrity. Like they definitely suggest like a bomb could be placed here, and yet you don't fucking get bombs at all in this section. Nor are you able to go back to this section. It's like it's a one-way fucking section. And I just wanted to highlight this. Does anybody know exactly how to get through that, or is that something to actually get through? I kind of feel like that was just a haymaker.
No, I've been through it.
Really? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like you don't get bombs.
I think bombs are a rare drop, but I'm pretty sure you can get through the castle again later on anyway.
Are you
once
sure?
Once you get either the Power Glove or the Titan Mitt.
Because like I've never been through those walls ever, ever. So I kind of want to highlight this. Just pull the switch over there. She doesn't tell you which switch. I already know by memory that it's the right switch. However, I did want to highlight that you come across a lot of these switches, and they're all incredibly vague. And again, they just kind of go to the fuck you factor in this game. And in this case, it's just a bunch of snakes. Later, it could be a bunch of bombs. Sometimes the whole floor could collapse. So this is honestly one of the bullshit mechanics of Link to the Past. It's honestly one of the few things that I actually find wrong with it. When you come across these vague rooms that really don't suggest any way to get through them. So here, I'm just finishing up. Pretty much, we delivered the princess to the priest. And this is what I was talking about, like in the podcast. Pretty much, this is one of the few moments where a big chunk of the game, when you're going through the first couple of dungeons, that Princess Zelda is in absolutely no danger. She's just chilling, and she's under the protection of the priest. So, it works out. I don't know. Me personally, I always kind of found this strange because I don't know, the priest is just kind of thrown in there for narrative convenience, like as a plot device.
I just noticed there's a Triforce up there.
Yeah. I don't know, it's also, you know, for its time, look at the atmosphere. It's very churchy, like dangerously churchy for I mean, there's no crosses like in the Japanese, in the Super Famicom version. There are crosses, which of course they had to remove for localization, but still, even then, they kept it really churchy. All right, so this is where the game opens up, but there, I mean, you still have objectives, but you now have way more room to dick around. I mean, way more room. And then here, like, I'm kind of just showing the scope. I mean, again, this is really fucking impressive back in the day too. It was such a good decision to use Mode 7, kind of like showcase the world. But then, like, you're given a destination, so you know you're already set pretty close to the path. So, I mean, the game does a really good job to hold your hand, but it never feels like it. And because you're so easy to stray off the path, I mean, yeah, and I just love
take the sign, like fuck that sign.
Yeah, God, man, I love that. Like everything kind of has its.
Were you able to cut them in this version?
I don't know if you could. No, you were not.
Game Boy Advance version, you could swing your sword and you'd have like a little swing and it would cut in half.
So I kind of want to highlight, this is one of the enemies we mentioned and how he would shock you. But again, this is where the experimentation comes through. He's somebody you can fight right now in this area, and they put him in this area purposely to highlight, like, you can use your boomerang to stun him and kill him.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a reason why that enemy is put so close to where you leap off from.
Go in the water. Go in the water.
Don't go in the water, though.
I saw some steps.
You saw, yeah, you can just jump in the water and fucking die.
Yeah, go into that whirlpool, like whatever, fuck it.
And I just love that I'm sorry, I killed a man with a sign. That felt
and it came back.
Yeah, he came back though. But yeah, it feels really good to just again like the game, the environment kind of has a very encouraging nature behind it. So I know I have to be here in Kakariko Village, and I'm gonna cut. This is where we're gonna cut soon. We're gonna try to discuss other moments, but see, I wanted to highlight. You know, at this point, you're one.
Got a little face in there and everything.
I love that too. It's got the little face and everything. You can talk to a lot of different NPCs, but I mean, there's no direction. I forget what this dude gives to you if you chase him, but you need the Pegasus. But yeah, there are townsfolk. It highlights, like, that old woman, for example, will be like, hey, I don't believe you're a criminal. You're looking for this dude's grandpa, but you have to, it takes a while for you. You're initially looking for the grandpa, and they let you know that he's not here. But they really want to highlight this, so we're going to be here for a while. They introduced Cocos, which are now a staple. They're a trademark of Legend of Zelda, as is this moment when you just fucking harass them to such an extent. And, like, I don't know, his little buddy's just not liking what I'm doing. He's just like, he's just hopping around in the background.
Hey, don't do that. Stop it.
Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly.
You
And then he
asked.
gets fucked. He's just like, you asked for it, dude. And then eventually,
Here they come.
it's a very neat Easter egg.
Yeah. No.
Quick on it, dude. I don't think
They're endless though, aren't they? Until you go into a house.
No, they stop eventually. See, they're done.
Yeah.
There you go.
And done.
Yeah, I don't.
It seemed endless at the time.
That'd be scary as shit the first time you see it. They're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and again, kind of wanted to highlight here, just more interior. At this point, I was kind of like thinking, what should I show next? As far as NPC, because we're about to cut the recording here. But yeah, there like I said, there are certain townsfolk that are totally on your side still. They're all about you, and then if you'll notice here,
And
that
gone.
bitch.
yeah,
I know. Ratting you out.
and that's something you kind of encounter through Kakariko Village until you get to the first quarter of the game. Again, a lot of new things.